Hi Newbie, I know what you're here for. Hello everyone, welcome to Ride Along Reviews. I am Chris. Today is my little bit on beginners whiskies. Now, if I was a beginner, which I was about 1 or 2 years ago, these are the two whiskies that I think I would have liked people to say, right, try this and try that. If you like this, you can go down that route, and if you like this, you can go down that route. But I think trying both will help you out greatly in deciding if you would like to go into whiskey and start drinking it neat, or however else you want. So my first one I'm going to recommend is Johnnie Walker Black or Red. They are both everywhere, so you can pretty much get it anywhere. They have good flavours. Johnnie Walker Black's got smoke, so it lends itself towards Islays and other such whiskies with the smoky peaty element, without having to go down that Laphroaig route or Ardbeg, smokiness, which are two very, very smoky whiskies if you haven't tried them before. And then my other choice, my other recommendation is Buffalo Trace, which I have a bottle here that I'm just tucking to now. Now this is a bourbon. This is a sweet bourbon. It's got great vanilla notes, and it's sweeter than a normal Scotch because of the way it's made. Very nice. Now I think that's it basically. You want to start to get into whiskey, there you two. There is so many more Irish whiskies, which is a different process, but then some of them still use the same process. Scotland, there's whiskies from all over the world, so it is very, very varied, and you literally have to try every one you can get. The ones I've selected or recommended here are quite a low price point as well, but they are good, solid whiskies that pretty much, I don't know anybody that doesn't really like them. So yeah, I hope that helps you out, because that's the way I want to go. A couple of other things. People go on about glasses. Here I've got a sort of version of a Glencairn that has a little bit on the bottom, just so you're not warming up the glass and all that sort of stuff. It's good for getting the nose. So obviously over the past few years, or couple of years, where I've got more and more into whiskey, I'm slowly developing my skill at tasting and smelling and so forth. But that's a good glass to have. I started off just in a round tumbler. That's a good, it does sort of arc in, so you do get a good nose. I've used this in my reviews. I don't think there's too much difference, especially for a beginner and especially for a newbie. But it's another standard glass, something like that. People will go on about you need to be in that sort of special glass to get the full extent, but you're a new guy, you're a newbie, you're a beginner. Start out with what you want. I started out with ice, because I felt that the alcohol and the whiskey was too harsh for my palate. So the ice just gentles. It smooths out the alcohol and takes away that burn, but it does mask flavour. But if you're starting out, I don't think that's a bad thing, because you you're new. You're just getting used to it. I think, yeah, try those two and you'll get used to it. In whatever glass you can get, with whatever ice you want, or with a dash of water. Obviously, don't mix it with Coke or any other sort of sodas, because that's not really great. But hey, other cocktails are good. Whiskey sours is one of my favourite cocktails. It's really nice. Yeah, I think that's it really. So once you've tried them, there is a few more whiskies that I've picked out, which I think you should try, and have been my favourite from the past few years. This starts off with Nikka from the Barrel, which is a Japanese blended whiskey. Really recommend that. It is one of my favourites of all time. It is cask strength, so it has a higher alcohol content at about 51-54%, something like that, if memory serves me. Really good. Again, it's a blend. I think you'll find a lot of blends nowadays, and they're great flavours. My second one on my list is West Cork Distillers 12-year-old sherry cask. Now, this one I've only recently tried, and it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I am intrigued. It was probably one of the first sherry casks I've tried. What that means is that the secondary barrel that's been put has had sherry in before, so it was really good. So that's gone on my list. So that was good. My third on my list is Bulliet Bourbon. Now, Bulliet Bourbon is slightly different to Buffalo Trace, where this has a lot of vanilla sweet notes. Bulliet Bourbon has orange. It smells like oranges to me, which is really nice, and a nice different smell. The bourbon is very similar, a sweet, sweet taste with the wood and the oak, and quite a nice sort of warming feeling. It's pretty standard, but it's Bulliet Bourbon, really nice, well worth checking out as well. Fourth on the list is Laphroaig, which is a smoky Islay. It is one of those whiskies that a lot of people end up really leaning towards. I started off with some sweeter whiskies because that smoky flavour is so intense sometimes, and I felt that when you're new, it can be quite overpowering and sort of in your face, just like a face hugger, But it is definitely something that you start to learn to like, and the more and more you drink it, the better and better it gets, and then you end up drinking, a bottle of Laphroaig 10, the Ardbegs, Lagavulin. There's quite a few distilleries on Islay, but they're all really nice and well worth trying out. If you like that smoky element from the Johnnie Walker Black I recommended, that's where you can go after that. Which also then brings me to number 5, which is an independent bottling by Douglas Laing. It's called Rock Oyster. It is a blend again, but it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's like it's all the islands basically. It's Arran, Islay, Orkney, all the islands around Scotland basically, and they just blend it into one bottle. That's probably completely wrong, but it is several islands and it's all blended. But it's really nice. Has a nice smoky element, a peaty element, a salty element. Fantastic whiskey and definitely worth trying out. I don't think you go wrong with them really. So yeah, go and check them out. It's a good list. and well worth trying. But if you're starting out, Johnnie Walker Black, Buffalo Trace, you can't really go wrong, to be honest. You can't go wrong. And they're good whiskies. Good whiskies for people to try out from the beginner. So yeah, thinking about changing the name of this channel from Ride Along Reviews to Last Drop Reviews. I hope that's okay with everyone. Because I have been doing alcohol ones the most. So it seems like a more organic, fluid progression to the channel name. So I have a nice little hook at the end. So give me that subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you like this. I hope that helped you out, and that was the last drop.